So Pro Football Focus got their power rankings for all 32 teams. I went ahead and took the NFC East only. Let's discuss what PFF said about each individual team and what Philly Mike got to say.
This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike. Talking sixes in the bird gang, that's I like. Competition, we ain't scared, yeah, that's what we like. Win or lose, you know we showing up and we gon' fight. You see we strive for the sky every day that go by. And every single week we screaming fly, Eagles fly. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah. This is Philly Talk with Philly Mike, yeah.
What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today we are going to talk about PFF NFC East Power Rankings. A couple weeks ago, I put out Peter King's Power Rankings, and the Eagles were inside the top 10 at number 9. I believe the Cowboys were at 15, and the Washington football team and the Giants were somewhere in the back. I don't care. Now, PFF came out, and none of us are in the top 10. But we got to talk about this 12-13 neck-to-neck race and the rest. Plus, I screenshot the paragraph of what PFF said about each team. And we'll go over all that. But before we do it, Eagle Nation, help your boy out and hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new and ding that notification bell so you know when these videos drop or when we go live. Let's look at the list I put up. So, of course, they got Dallas in first, 12th overall, but first in the NFC East. Next, second in the NFC East and 13 overall, which is right there. I mean, talk about neck and neck. That is what the race looks like to PFF, at least. The Eagles at 13th overall and second in the NFC East. Washington at 22 overall, third in the NFC East. And the New York Football Giants at 26 overall and fourth in the NFC East. Now, I'm going to give you my take on this, right? Because I've been saying it's a two-team race. Now, Washington could be better if Carson Wentz is somewhat of the old version of Carson Wentz. I do believe both the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles will both win double digits. Who has the higher double digit is who's going to secure the division. I believe both these teams have a chance to make the playoffs, just like last year. There's 3 wildcard teams. I'm not saying the person who don't win the division is going to be the third wildcard team. They might be close enough to be the first wildcard team. I believe the division is going to the Eagles. I got us winning close to 12, 11-12, and Dallas 10-11. Their schedule's easy too. We got a little better. They got a little worse. But they were better than us. They were 12 wins. We were 9 wins. It's as simple as that. I have to see Jalen Hurts, although I am one of the biggest believers. And I'm going to keep believing until he comes out and says, what? I don't think that's happening. But I'm going to keep believing because I've seen the growth game by game. Frustrating things, but what other 23-year-old wouldn't be frustrating at times? But I saw the growth. Now let's get into why each team is where they say they are. Let's start with the Cowboys and Eagles. They're on the same screen. It's too big, so it's going to cover me. The Cowboys at 12. Dallas had a curious offseason where every problem it faced seemingly caught the franchise by surprise. The team traded away Amari Cooper because it was upset that he wasn't providing the kind of value his contract suggested. Cedric Wilson also departed in free agency. They thought they re-signed Randy Gregory, but he became upset at some contract language, so he took the same offer from the Denver Broncos, leaving the Dallas scrambling to replace him. Overall, this team likely spun its wheel in the mud. Stuck. They're stuck. That's what PFF's saying. This offseason, while other teams improved, but they are still a good team overall. Now, again, we got to see if that defense duplicates it. I'm not going to say their defense is not going to be good because I thought Dan Quinn was trash. He ended up being better than I thought. And same with Diggs and Parsons. So their defense is pretty good, but can they sustain it? We'll see. Eagles, 13. I'm not sure any franchise had a better offseason than the Philadelphia Eagles when it's all considered. Trading for A.J. Brown gives them the number 1 receiver they have been searching for, and it also allows Devontae Smith to concentrate on doing what he does well as a number 2. Adding Hassan Reddick and Jordan Davis reinforces a defensive front that was eroding from its peak and grabbing James Bradbury late in the day is a really shrewd signing, that could make a real difference. Georgia linebacker Nakobe Dean could also prove to be one of the biggest steals of the draft if he's the same player in the NFL that he was in college. Now, again, they didn't talk about Jalen Hurts because I don't know where PFF stands on him. I think they understand what he does well, but they're not sure what the growth is going to look like. And it's not their concern. But they're saying this team is overall so much better. That PFF was one of the sites that had the Eagles being one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. So for PFF to say, worst team, they watch us go to the playoffs and now they move to 13, it's kind of respectful, but not really, because they're not really quantifying what they say about Jalen Hurts. And so with that being unknown, they still keeping us at 13. So just say if Jalen Hurts does get better. Well, I think PFF's going to come out quickly, week 3, week 4, week 5, and talk about, well, the Eagles are definitely in our top 10 now or moved up over Dallas. We will see all about that. But again, we got better, they got worse, and PFF at least knows it to have a 12-win team right next to the 9-win team that wasn't supposed to win 9 games last year. I still think the Eagles are going to win a division. I still think that this team has so much untapped potential from the young guys and the old guys now coming back to a system where they feel comfortable in. I'm talking about James Bradbury. Yes, everybody wants to downplay him. And as PFF said, a shrewd signing late in the offseason. Now let's look real quick at Washington and New York, because you never know if Washington gets the old Carson. Hitching your wagon to a player that is being thrown out of his previous employer's building after just 1 year as the answer at quarterback is a risky strategy. But that was Washington's answer to a disappointing season in 2021. Carson Wentz ranked 23rd in the NFL last season in overall PFF grade and was at his worst in the crunch time, a crunch period of a season with the playoffs on the line. Washington will be hoping he is enough of an upgrade over Tyler Heineke that it can return to playoffs, but that may just be optimism at this point. Last but not least, the New York Football Giants at 26. The biggest additions the Giants made were at general manager and head coach, because that franchise was being thrown to the garbage by their general manager and ex-head coach. With that being said, Brian DeBall, in particular, could have a real impact on Daniel Jones at the quarterback position. Jones was a top 5 graded quarterback in the league through the first month of season in 2021. Top 5 graded quarterback in the league the first month of football last season? I got to go back and look. Before the wheels fell off as the offense got bad around him. The Giants did what they could on the offensive line and the receiving core. Staying healthy would have been a big boost for the team overall. The Giants offense could be a surprise unit in 2022. So I guess what they're saying is with Brian DeBall, Daniel Jones playing at his best ability with the new offensive line and Saquon Barkley, they can surprise a couple people. I mean, they had a good draft. I ain't gonna front. I like their offensive line improvement. I don't know how it's gonna do as a unit, but I like Evan Neal. I like their defensive player in Thibodeau. I like Brian DeBall, right? I don't know who their GM is necessarily. I don't know what he's all about. But Brian DeBall was someone I advocated for before I even heard the name Nick Sirianni. So I'm not going to poo-poo on him. But I got to go back and see Daniel Jones being a top 5 quarterback in the first 4 games. I thought he was bad the whole season. I know the wheels really fell off, but I got to see when, where, and how. Their problem last year was Daniel Jones, their head coach, their GM, and injuries. But it's been that way for 5 years. So until the Giants show me something, I'm going to chill here with the number 13 spot, according to PFF. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Did PFF get it right? Did they get it wrong? Are we higher? Are we lower? When Peter King said we were 9th and inside the top 10, I kind of said maybe not 9th. In the middle of the season, I think we can slip inside the top 10. I'm going to go with the potential. But right now, until I see it, I would have said 12, 13, 14. So 13 is cool. If the Eagles are 13, I got Dallas one behind me. Instead of Dallas being one in front of me, I would like Dallas to be at least one or two behind me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Like, subscribe. We out.